Yo, what's good YouTube? It's your boy JY. We're at the European Championship 2022 in Belgium. It's like the biggest Euros ever in history. And we got a deck profile for you guys. So Conor made top 64 of the event. You finished 9th after Swiss.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, solid showing, repping the UK. We're proud of you, bro. And this is your first Premier event top, right?
Yeah, this is the first Euros I attended.
Well, your first Euros as well?
Yeah.
Jeez, repping, let's go. What you played?
I played pure Spright.
Okay, and do you want to say anything before we get into the profile?
Yeah, I'd like to do my shout-outs before I get in. So, firstly, shout out to Victoria. She's basically funded this entire trip for me, funded the deck, because I'm broke.
Oh man, you got a sugar mama. Oh my goodness, no way. I didn't know about this. Hey.
Shout outs to team name TBC, which is Brad, Jacob, and Ben Lawrence. Shout outs to Luke Bennett for some last minute theories. It was just a small change that I made to the list before we played the event. Shout outs to Ben because he's garbage and he went X4 in the end. And then shout outs to The Cavern, Incom Gaming, and Blazing Sun TCG.
Sick, yeah, good locals, man. And,
all fantastic.
Let's get into it, bro.
Right, so I won't cover these ones too long.
Just flip the cards the other way, bro.
Oh yeah, of course.
It's all good, no worries. This is first profile.
I'm bad.
There'll be many more to come.
So, 3 of all the good ones. I'm not going to explain a great deal about that.
Yeah, fair enough.
And then for the one-offs, I played 1 red Pixies and Carrot.
Yeah.
So, one thing that I was finding in testing is that the deck really struggles to push for damage, and so Pixies allows you to push for damage more effectively, and also in conjunction with Daigusto Phoenix it can clear the Terra Element monsters, because I'm having real trouble just because the tiers are so big. So my normal summon choice was Deep Sea Diva. So the options for this were the Nimble package or Diva, and I'm playing a really high hand trap count in conjunction with Nibiru. And that means if you Nibiru someone going second, you can normal summon a hand trap to make Hulk and then summon Diva, which gets you into Engine if you've not drawn it, which is, it didn't come up at this event, but it's come up a few times in testing. 3 Swat Frog, 1 Running Toadin, and the Duke Frog. I think that with this deck, normally if you're getting super polyed, they're super polying you for the Elf and Red anyway. And Duke Frog stops you from losing to side deck cards like Alpha, Pancratops. And in general, it's just nice to have a 4th name to push for with Running Toadin.
So did you summon Dupe every single time?
I think I summoned Dupe every single time I went first, and then it was an easy side out going second.
Oh, okay, makes sense. Did you get super polyed a lot, or?
I was super polyed, I want to say 4 or 5 times, and it only lost me the game 1 time. I don't think that Spright loses to board breakers, because when they're breaking your board, so long as they don't kill you, you're generating massive advantage back from the Duke Frog, from the Toad, as well as from reborning the Sprites, which occasionally happen for me, as well as the starter that you can shoot during that turn.
Awesome. Alright.
So for hand traps, I played 15 in total. So, at the start of the format, everyone was saying that Nibiru is really bad.
Ultimus, jeez.
But it's...
We're probably hooking you up, yeah? Hey.
No, these are all me, I promise.
Oh, okay. Sorry, alright.
So, everyone was saying Nibiru is really bad because Gigantic Spright turns it off. But I was finding that it was the same thing as with the Brave engine, where everyone was cutting Nibiru and not realizing that you just needed to draw 2 hand traps that format. And so I think Nibiru is the biggest blowout so long as it's seen in conjunction with another hand trap. Not to mention, a lot of my opponents just... You can't play around Nib and Ogre in the mirror, so unless you open 5 names, which is like a 3 card combo. So normally one of the time you'll lose to one of these either way, so by playing both I maximize the chances of actually stealing a game in the mirror going second, and the mirror going second is just awful.
You play a lot of mirrors throughout the day?
I played 3 mirrors in Swiss and then another one in Top Cup, and I won 3 of them. So last few cards in the deck, it's 3 Prosperity for consistency, Call By because it's Call By, and then Smashes and Monster Reborn for the 41st card.
Reborn?
So Reborn was really useful because everyone's come to a very similar consensus that if you stop Spright from getting a name on board, then they just lose the game. So the Reborn's just a nice bomb card that allows you to get a name on the board. It's really, really strong in the mirror, and it's also really good through deck devastation virus, which is, there's so few answers to it, and it's probably my main criticism of the deck is that you really, really struggle against deck devastation. Onto the extra deck. So I played 3 elf and 2.
Sorry, bro.
Wait. So 3 elf and 2 gigantic, and then an Almirage's an honorary Spright card. When I was testing, I found that 3 elf was coming up constantly during the grind game, but I found as I was playing the event and I was managing my resources more effectively, the 3rd elf wasn't really coming up, and it was just a prosperity banish, so it's probably a card that you could cut going forward. And then for other random stuff, I've got Hulk, which was for the Diva play that I mentioned before. It's also really good when going second if you are actually able to resolve Diva. You can make Hulk and then summon the 3rd Diva from deck to make your gigantic Spright 32 and push for damage. Cerberus is, it's not standard, but I really like this card in the deck because so most of the criticisms I heard of it when I was testing it is that you don't really want to use it against the tiers, but after testing some more, I found that if you just want to turbo out to gigantic and then resolve it, and you basically just auto win against tiers, and at that point you don't care if they mill 5, you don't care if they trigger their effects, you just want to clear bodies off the board and push for damage and prevent them from having follow-up. Soul Sweeper's standard, Toad, and then the Zeus package, this is all standard, I won't go into it too much. And then the Dark Charmer, which was, it was really good this weekend, everyone's playing Dark decks. And then the last card in the extra deck was Douglas Phoenix. This came up for me, I would say, probably 1 in 3 rounds. I was trying to conceal it where possible because of the fact that people just aren't playing around it, they're leaving all their stuff in attack position because all of the Spright monsters are tiny. So they'd put a big monster up on the board, and then suddenly I've summoned a Phoenix, I've detached it attacking to attack twice, and then I swing into something, drop the pixies in the damage step, and suddenly there's 5k of their life points are gone. It's really, really easy to clean up game after that point. It happened to me in top 128, I was playing against Mathmech, and I misplayed and he DD crowed my run-in totem, but thanks to having Phoenix and pixies, I was able to kill him through the Cyburst Wicked. And then 1 token with me and Victoria.
Shout out to the sugar mama.
Side deck, 3 pointer. This card overperformed all weekend. It's a bit interchangeable with anti-spell fragrance, but I found that having the hand knowledge allowed me to place my interruptions a lot more effectively. So I think going forward I would continue to play this. 3 cherries.
Ooh, okay.
So the theory behind this card was that if you cherries the elf in the mirror match, they can't get to Toad in like 80% of hands. They can't grind with you at all. But then as we tested further, we found that you can't really play the mirror anyway, because all you have to do is use your smashes on the normal summon and then just negate starter, and they just lose anyway. So I think that this probably shouldn't have been in my side for the event, and it should have been the Gamma package instead. 3 evenly, 3 Mystic Mine, and a Metaverse. When we were testing against tier, the boards that we were putting up in testing didn't lose to evenly matched quite as hard as we did the 3v3 yesterday, and the boards that the tier were putting up, they were all just auto losing to evenly because they were putting all of their resources into making Winder, into making Dragon's Stapelia, into setting 2 back row, field spell, and they just want to floodgate you out of the game, and that's what I found the general player base were doing at this event, and so evenly match was a complete blowout. And so the Mystic Mine package here, I wanted to have a way to go second into Spright and beat them through deck devastation virus. If they deck dev you, you basically have to draw Monster Reborn or Starter, and even then you still got to deal with the rest of the board. It just isn't viable. And so against Spright you only have 8 main deck spells and traps, so a lot of the time they take out their mine out, and so this blew out like 4 or 5 people over the weekend just because they take all their mine outs against you, and then game 3 you put it down and they just lose.
So did you deck many people out with that?
I decked 2 people out today. I decked out a Dragon Link player and I decked out a Brave Terra Element player.
Nice.
Because he kept digging and digging for the Draco back when you just smashes the token as soon as they equip it to the Draco back, and then that's it, it's gone forever. The last 2 cards inside were Pankratops and Red Reboot. Pankratops sucks, so it doesn't actually suck, but I was initially siding it in with the cherries because I have 4 side outs for the mirror, but because some players are playing Dupe Frog and some players aren't, Pankratops is really bad into Dupe Frog, and then it's really good if they don't have Dupe Frog. So, but I think that overall the Gamma package would just be more consistently good in the mirror match than the cherries and the Pankratops was. The other thing I found was a lot of people were playing Brave Spright, and I originally wrote it off because I didn't want to take a hyper consistent deck and then put a load of garnets in it just to increase the ceiling a tiny bit. When you're losing to all the same cards that the standard M board does, you know, it doesn't do anything to solve Dark Ruler Talents not droppers. Dark Ruler Talents, it's Super Poly. So had I have respected that deck a bit more, I'd have realized that cherries isn't viable, because that version of the deck can OTK you through cherries, whereas pure, it can't do anything to you through cherries. So if you draw it, even going first, you can just pass and they lose. But yeah, I think it should have been the Gamma package and Rebus Reboot.
Awesome, thank you for the profile. Congrats again.
Thank you.
Any last words?
I think that Tier is probably going to be the best deck going forward, so if you actually want to play this deck, get it in while you can.
Alright, awesome, thank you. Hopefully see you in Top Cut again soon.
Hopefully, yeah.
Alright, like and subscribe. Peace.